Today we're going to look at what Chamath Palihapitiya thinks of Elon Musk and one of the most popular companies that always seems to be in the news, Tesla. What's going on, everybody? This is Ursi. Welcome to the next video of a series that covers some real interesting takes coming from one of my favorite people to listen to when it comes to talking about the state of the economy, investing, as well as how to approach looking at businesses that you're interested in investing. If you don't know Chamath, he is the CEO of Social Capital, owns about 1/3 of Virgin Galactic, which is a commercial spacecraft company, and he also is an owner of the Golden State Warriors. As usual, it seems like Tesla is always in the news, and for a company that spends $0 on advertising, that's impressive. There's that famous saying that goes, all publicity is good publicity, or there's no such thing as bad publicity. And that basically is implying that it is better for something to receive bad publicity than no publicity at all. And this is true. I mean, controversy creates attention. We see this in society everywhere, from people that have a following or a platform. Think of people like Kanye West, or if you follow sports, LeVar Ball, or even Donald Trump. When they come out of left field and say something controversial or something that's going to get a lot of people riled up, it gets a whole lot of attention, and it seems like it's always in the media. Now, in my opinion, Elon Musk and his Twitter fingers are a perfect example of this. We've lost count of how many times Tesla stock has either shot up or crashed down based on something that Elon Musk is tweeting about. Now, I know many people, including some investors, are not too fond of this type of behavior. But as a shareholder myself, I don't really mind it because, well, it gets everyone talking about Tesla, and the volatility that it brings can potentially provide me with more opportunities to buy the stock on big dips. But you didn't come here for my investing thesis around Tesla. You came here to see what Chamath is saying. So without further ado, let's take a look at what Chamath Palihapitiya had to say when asked about Elon's recent squabble with Alameda County about opening their Fremont factory.
What's going on with a company that I know you like a lot, which is Tesla and Elon Musk. Is Elon Musk doing the right thing by opening in the face of rules in Alameda that would effectively tell him that he can't?
Yeah, I think this case is so interesting because it actually paints what you guys spoke about before. I had been and will continue to be a huge supporter of his. What you have right now is this issue where the federal government has a specific set of guidelines. People may think that they fall into those guidelines. Then states then issue guidelines. And then on top of that, you have regulations at local levels. When you put them all together, it's incredibly confusing. So if you're a business owner and you're trying to figure out how to get back to work because you believe the risks are manageable, there's no clear way that you can go and actually get the approvals to do so. Because if the federal government says yes and the state government says yes, but then a local government says no, what are you to do? And then what are you supposed to do for your workers? So this is an issue where if you take a step back, what it says is there's still so much we don't understand about the virus. All this regulation is actually quite confusing. These local, state, and federal agencies have a responsibility to Americans to figure this out and be coherent. And otherwise, you'll have all of this disparity where on one side, people think we should be closed until there's a vaccine. On the other side, thousands of workers are clamoring to get back to work because of their livelihood, and there's no coherent policy response. That's unfortunately where we are, and I empathize with his position.
Chamath, that's the policy issue. My question to you is, do you support Elon Musk saying local laws be damned in this case? I'm moving ahead.
I don't think he's saying local laws be damned. I think he was trying to actually get time with the folks in Alameda. And frankly, what I saw on Twitter was, basically literally somebody telling him to F off. It was not the kind of discourse you'd expect from public officials who are responsible for engaging with local business owners. So I think what I'm saying explicitly is Alameda should sit down with Tesla, have them walk through their entire testing mechanism, the protocols they're taking, and actually make a decision and not fight him over Twitter.
I love how he deflects the reporter's question, who is clearly trying to get some type of reaction from Chamath, but instead he answers it in a very non-combative, logical way where he's not trying to bash neither Elon Musk nor the Alameda County public officials, but instead he comes up with the best solution for all parties involved. Now, this isn't the first time a reporter has tried to provoke Chamath into saying something negative about Tesla in order to fit the TV network's narrative. I really like this next interview I'm about to show you because boy was the reporter persistent in displaying a clear negative connotation towards Tesla, and yet Chamath handles it brilliantly and absolutely crushes it with his rational arguments. Let's take a look.
Let's talk about Tesla. Okay, what was it? More than 2 years ago, you're at Sohn. You pitched the converts.
Converts, yeah.
Where are you with those today? And then I want to talk to you more broadly about that company.
So if you take a step back, right? If I asked you to sort of, attempt to drive a golf ball off the pier here into a teacup and gave you 1,000,000 tries, I suspect that in 1,000,000 times you would not be able to do it. But if you then took somebody else and they were able to do it 9 times out of 10, you'd say, wow, that person is a great golfer. The analogy that I would make is Elon basically did that equivalent. He was able to send a rocket into space, do all kinds of interesting, enormously productive, useful things for the world while in space, and then come back down and land on a boat in the middle of the ocean. The kind of technical sophistication that he has in his mind, that he's been able to apply across his companies, is second to none, quite honestly. So when we looked at Tesla, what we thought was a company at an inflection point that was as close to its version of an iPhone moment. And what I mean by that is a company that had been growing up, taking risks, and had finally found the mass market product that would unlock an enormous amount of product market fit. And that was the Model 3. And so far, what I would say is he's living up to what he has signed up for, which is to commercialize electrification, to commercialize an incredible user experience at a price point that has frankly cannibalized its competitors. And what you see in the results, in my opinion, is a company that is now maturing under all of that demand. And so, again, is it the best suited company if you want to drive and observe quarter-over-quarter precision and performance? No. But if you want to take a step back and take a 3-5-year view and say, where can I compound my money? And particularly with the converts, what's so beautiful is it's downside protected because it sits on top of all the equity and the other debt. And so if you have any concern that there's liquidity issues, or if you have any concerns that the company may have to sell, they get paid first. So to me, it was a riskless option on the Edison of our generation.
But you weren't you weren't necessarily comfortable enough with the story to buy the common stock?
The reason is because the common stock is not controlled, unfortunately, enough by him or the insiders. What it's controlled by are a bunch of vulture-like venture and hedge funds, mostly hedge funds, who like to prey on that company. If you look at, for example, the Twitter traffic, or if you look at the forum traffic around Tesla, the amount of hyping or under-hyping, the amount of sniping is enormous. All of that signals to me that it is a market that is out of the control of the founders and the executives and firmly in the hands of financial manipulators.
Well, come on,
so
I mean,
my perspective is buy the bonds, you're protected, and allow Elon to execute.
Isn't the founder and his actions responsible for a lot of what you're talking about?
Well, all I see, frankly, is that he has tried to execute to the best of his abilities. He puts out aggressive numbers. He tries to meet those numbers. Sometimes he misses those numbers. What would you rather have?
Often he misses the numbers.
But that's okay, because in the course of the year or in the course of the 5 years, if you take a 5-year step back and say, what has he promised in 2014 to what is he doing in 2019, you'd be ecstatic. Similarly, if you take a step back and say from 2019 to 2024, let the man do his job, will we be better or worse off as a planet, as a species, as humanity, as consumers? We will be better off.
And no one debates his genius. It's lauded, celebrated. It's the fact that the way he runs his company. You're comfortable with that? If you're an investor in Tesla, you're 100% comfortable with the way he is a CEO?
Yeah.
None of the actions that he's done over the last year or so give you pause at all?
What do you mean? Meaning the Model 3 is an incredible car. I just bought one. It's incredible. I bought it the way that it
funding
was
secured? I mean, what was that?
Okay, maybe he stepped out of bounds. My point is, you're getting caught up in the window dressing. I'm focusing on the main course. The main course is on the table. The choice for you as a buyer or a seller of that stock is, do you want to eat it? If you get caught up in all of the stuff around the edges, maybe he may mistweet from time to time. My point is, who cares? Your job as a smart investor is to separate the facts and the news from the fiction and the noise. And all of that stuff doesn't matter. it does not change the fact that tens of thousands of consumers are buying that car faster than they can get their hands on it. It doesn't change that the minute you sit inside that car, your definition of what is expected is altered forever. And you wonder why every other car around you that you ever step in, that you may buy, doesn't have the same things that that car offers. So at the end of the day, whether you like his style or not, his substance is irrefutable.
Sure, but I walked down the street here in San Francisco the other day. I see a billboard for the new Audi electric car that's coming. I mean, competition is coming. If it's not already here, that gives you no pause?
You're right, because I remember all the Zune media players I bought after Apple released the iPod. I also remember the enormous number of amazing smartphones I bought when the iPhone was launched. It's not what people do. You know, it tends to be the case that when you redefine expectations and you have a category leader and you have an indelible brand and a mark that people recognize, the easiest decision, let me be a little pejorative, the lazy decision is to pick the winner and go with it. And in this case, there is a clear winner in electrification. It is done. That die has been cast. And so now the question is, can he build the infrastructure to deliver the demand? And if given time and if given patience, I believe he will, and I vote with my money that he can do that. And everybody that bets against him can do that as well, but at what stake, really? Because it's not as if there's no downside protection for the stock. The people who short this company are so short-sighted because the number of companies that would come out of the woodwork, you don't think that Apple, with $200 billion of cash, backstops this company and has a chance to enter a $1 trillion market overnight by buying that business if it gets imperiled in any way? Google, which already tried to buy it, wouldn't try to buy it again?
I'd say it's a risk.
So what are we betting against? We're betting against a cleaner Earth because we don't like that. We like to suck in the carbon monoxide and the fumes from all these cars. We're betting against beautiful flat screens, beautiful ways in which to manage your experience inside the car because we don't like that.
No, we're betting
Why?
against whether he can deliver what he says, the fundamentals of the company. That's what they're betting against.
No, that's not true. People are betting against his style. They don't like his style.
It's not just that.
It
I mean,
is
come on,
just
there's smart people like Jim Chanos. He's a smart investor. He's not betting just on his style.
Jim Chanos makes money once a decade. And while the market rips up, the guy just bleeds money and he's never on CNBC. And every time something works, he's there for 5 minutes. Great for Jim Chanos. Fantastic as a hedge in a portfolio where you have 1% in a short fund. But the reality is being long equities makes sense. Being long innovation makes sense. Betting against entrepreneurs that are changing the world has never been a profitable endeavor. Why start now?
I'm sure Mr. Chanos is going to take issue with your numbers and some of your comments. And
I'm happy to post my returns against Chanos anytime he wants.
I gotta say, it is absolutely refreshing to hear a refined person speak with such clarity and intellect in the face of someone who has a strong preconceived perception of Elon and Tesla, whereas another person might have gotten into an argument or gotten angry based on the combative questions that the host was asking. So yet another display of class, professionalism, and rational thinking by Chamath. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are enjoying these videos about Chamath, please kindly smash the like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss on the next video that I will make about Chamath.